independence written into the Constitution. And for me, the line in the sand is the electronic voting machines. You know, we have 80% of the country voting on these machines, and they're all on proprietary source code. And
so we really need a question.
Okay,
so if you want to say something, you have to say it as a question.
Basically, that was it. And just to say that I'm in favor of an Article 5 convention.
Okay, any response? Fine, to my right.
So we've had one
Mr. Snyder.
Hi, Jim Snyder, a non-residential fellow at the Safra Center. So we've had one federal constitutional convention in the United States, but we've had 233 state constitutional conventions. And one of my worries is that the way you rise to the top in academics is generally to study national politics, and you associate the study of state and local politics with community colleges and state schools. And in much of your writing, I just haven't seen any discussion of America's quite extensive state constitutional convention experience. Is there anything that you feel you could learn and apply to the problems you're addressing here from our really quite extensive experience of state constitutional conventions where they've worked out most of these problems? Obviously, the legal regime is quite different, but still, there might be something valuable there, and I'm wondering if any of you would agree that there might be.
Let me first ask, Barbara, this is the subject of a chunk of the book, maybe not your chapters, but...
Yeah, this is chapter 5 in the book. In fact, it answers your specific question, what can state conventions teach us? And you know, we don't have time to go into all of the details, but it addresses each and every one of those types of questions that Professor Tribe raised about how do you select delegates, what are the limits on the convention, what do you do after that. So I would highly recommend that, along with, I think, what would answer Sink's first question, a book by my colleague Larry Sabato at the University of Virginia, some of you might know, called A More Perfect Constitution, 23 Proposals to Revitalize Our Constitution and Make America a Fair Country. He spells out all of Professor Tribe's questions, and first of all, those are just important food for thought. But he also talks about some of these institutional questions that we're raising beyond specific public policy issues.
Yeah, brief. Let me just say a word about that. First, I think it's not correct to think that there aren't a lot of people who are studying state constitutions. It's a burgeoning, almost cottage industry at Harvard, Yale, Chicago, Virginia, Stanford, Duke, a lot of places. Secondly, I do think there are lessons to be learned, but there are different lessons. The states as laboratories teach us lots of different things, but they don't give us answers in the national, quite different context where we have considerations of federalism that you don't have within